freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your recap episode for this week's Black Desert Championship. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Hello, Greg.
Good evening, gentlemen. What a week. Incredible finish. We got a great storyline out of this week on what was a really cool golf course. Some really impressive visuals as we expected.
Yeah, it certainly did not disappoint. We knew it was going to look great on TV, and it did. Patrick McDonald is also here. Hello, Patrick.
What's going on, gang? Great Sunday in the McDonald household myself, but I'm capping it off with the best part, obviously talking to you, gentlemen.
Oh, my heart just melts. You are just such a sweet boy, Patrick. Thank you so much for saying that. Well, yes, we did have a week. Let's start with the resort, Greg. It was Black Desert Resort. We talked about this a lot on Monday. Lava rock, the contrast between the very green grass, those rocks, the way that it was going to show on television. I think it lived up to all of that hype and then some.
Yeah, it showed up very nicely on television. Now you go into it with the name of the property being Black Desert Resort, and you know to an extent what you're going to get. And so for the PGA Tour players, a resort golf course is very rarely going to be extremely challenging. The only one I can really think of would be Innisbrook Resort or Pinehurst Resort, which has 10 courses where you have a lot of difficulty and challenge on a resort style golf course. So you know that coming in, it definitely presented great visuals. There was great scoring opportunities. I think it's a really high quality design. And I know we're going to have this for at least the next 4 years. I think we're set up to have some pretty good tournaments over these next 4 years because it is an exciting finish. And the last thing I'd add is I think it's a great spot for a FedEx Cup fall event. Great place to get these people who maybe are just coming out onto the PGA Tour, some guys who are fighting for their cards, give them an opportunity to go make some birdies. Creates a nice watch.
23 under par was the winning score. That was a 3-shot victory for one of those golfers who is just getting his career underway on the PGA Tour. And of course, Patrick, I am talking about Matt McCarty. We'll go through this round. We'll go through this week, but here's the headline. Golfer who is in his third PGA Tour start wins after winning 3 times on the Korn Ferry. Some guys just know how to win golf tournaments.
Some guys do, and this isn't a thing that has come immediate to Matt McCarty. You hear it a lot, like, oh, these young guys, they come out here and they know how to win. But this is someone who went through the Canadian Tour or the Form Tour, whatever it was called over
Mackenzie.
there. Then he was on the Korn Ferry Tour in 2022. Didn't really have a ton of great results. In 2023, kind of the same deal. And then really in July, something flipped and he has just gone in fuego. He won once at the Price Cutter. He T2 at the Utah Championship. I don't know if we looked deeply enough into that this week, but after that, a couple more wins as well. And obviously gets the 3-win promotion or the 3-victory promotion, which I must say, I am pissed that they changed the name from Battlefield Promotion to 3-victory promotion. I do not understand it. I thought it was one of the great things the Korn Ferry Tour had going. Unfortunately, I guess it's the PC culture we live in. And then he brings it into the PGA Tour in what I'm calling his second official PGA Tour starts. Big media out there is going to want to call it the third because of the 2022 U.S. Open. I do not recognize that tournament for Matt McCarty. And so he's shooting 50% right now, a guy who knows how to win. And I think what was really important for him this week, and he has touched on it a little bit, is he is playing with house money. You saw a lot of nerves from guys not named Matt McCarty towards the end of that. Veterans who have been on the PGA Tour for a long time, who are fighting to stay on the PGA Tour for another year or two or whatever it may be. And he played with house money, and you saw how stress-free it appeared really those last 6 holes.
It was house money from the start, Greg. A 62 on Thursday, a 68 on Friday. Then he goes 64, 67 on the weekend, 4 rounds of 68 or better. And just really one slip up that kind of mattered at the moment, which was on the 12th hole. He made a bogey in the final round, but the shot of the day, the shot of the tournament, the shot that will be remembered when Matt McCarty looks back at his first PGA Tour victory was the tee shot that he hit on the short drivable par 4 14th, a 297-yard shot that left him 3 feet 7 inches for a tap in eagle and plenty of cushion from there to roll to victory.
Yeah, and at that point, it really seemed like he was playing with house money. But you mentioned the mistake at number 12 mattering, and it really felt to me like it was mattering because now he got off to a great start. He hit it to 4 feet at number 1 and made an easy birdie at 7. But other than those 2 birdies, he was not hitting it very close to the hole. He was constantly lag putting, leaving himself long range putts and chips. He missed some greens. He was scrambling a little bit. And it was not a really sharp performance in the early going for him. And all of a sudden you get to number 12 and he 3 putts. It's like, well, this is bound to happen if you keep hitting it 50 feet away from the flag. And it seemed like that's what Matt McCarty was doing, which was all he needed to keep the lead. But it felt like a moment when it could really apply some pressure. And then he gets up on 14 and hits, aside from number 1, his closest approach shot, even though it was the tee shot of the day, and things really turned. And you could get the sense, okay, this is mine now. Let's go play some golf. Hits a great shot into 16, a great shot into 18 as well. So the iron play really, and I think he hit a really good shot into 17, although it didn't end up in a great spot. So the after 14, his play really it kicked up to a new gear, and it seemed like he was enjoying himself and having a great time. But the early going, the real reason he won this tournament and the reason he was in control all day is because of his scrambling and lag putting, which was very much on display in the early going.
I'm glad that Greg mentioned the way that he got it done, Patrick, and you mentioned it as well. This is not the ball striking superstar that everyone has earmarked as a PGA Tour winner since he was 14 years old. That is not Matt McCarty. If you look at the very small sample size that we have from the 2 starts here on the PGA Tour in terms of strokes gained, but if you also look at his Korn Ferry Tour stats for this year, he is what I would call a short game specialist. He does a lot of the damage on and around the greens, and then he's just a little bit better than average on approach, a little bit better than average off the tee, and that's the way he gets it done. So it is very different than a lot of these young up and coming, the whippersnappers, as we would say, who are making a ton of noise on the PGA Tour immediately.
Yeah, and I kind of like it. One, we just need more left-handers on the PGA Tour. We have Bobby McIntyre. We have, I don't know,
Joe Highsmith,
Steve Flesh,
Brian Harmon.
Brian Harmon.
We had 2 lefties in the final group today, Patrick.
Yes, Joe Highsmith. And Greg, I do have a question about Highsmith that I'm sure we'll talk about later, but a technical question that I wanted to toss your way. So remind me of that. Yes, definitely of his putting. And then I like guys who kind of just, I don't want to say slumming around, but they're creative and they're hitting golf shots. He's hitting a draw as his natural shot shape. You don't see that too often either these days. And so I don't want to call him a throwback player, but he's someone who, as a left-hander who hits a draw, I can relate to. And I really appreciate Matt McCarty's game. And I'm glad Greg brought up the lag putting, because really outside number 12, which was a poor putt, it was bad. He left it about 12 feet short. I was very impressed with his speed, and speed is typically the first thing that goes when you're very nervous down the stretch trying to win on the PGA Tour. And although that hiccup, it felt like it could derail him on number 12, the lag putting got very good from there on in, and obviously the shot on 14 as well. And I know he's not known for his iron play, but as Greg mentioned, as you mentioned, Rick, down the stretch, the iron play was terrific. It was very, very strong.
Quick sidebar, Greg. When I was in Canada, I think I played golf with 6 other golfers, and I think 4 of them were left-handed. Why do you think that is?
That's a very interesting question.
Come on, you know why.
This time. Well, I know what you're thinking, right? It's because of hockey players.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yep. But I think equipment availability has a lot to do with it. As the game of golf has grown in Canada, equipment companies have started making a whole lot more left-handed clubs. Patrick's really the guy to speak to about it. But yes, it's very likely from hockey. But by the way, is Matt McCarty is Robert McIntyre a good comp to him, or is that just because he's lefty?
I think he's a better ball striking Denny McCarthy.
Wow, so you really rate his putting high.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna find out, but his Korn Ferry putting numbers are great. I mean, top 5 on that tour. He might be top 5 on this tour. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see after next year. But that is my very early comp here.
Interesting. Okay.
So like a Brian Harmon.
Painted by the yeah. There we go. That's what I need. It's got to be a lefty.
Brian Harmon played in Macau this week. Did you see that? He played on the Asian tour in Macau. Minwoo Lee played in it as well. So Brian Harmon, for some reason, I don't know why he played that event.
Did he owe someone money over there? What the hell? I think
know.
Adam Scott played in it too.
He finished top 10. I think or maybe T11. He made 18 grand. That probably didn't even cover his travel over there.
There's something
going on.
Those guys going. Why is Harmon over there?
Appearance fee?
Did he get on the wrong flight?
I don't know.
After the President's Cup, he's like, oh man, I'm on the flight with Adam Scott and Minwoo Lee. Might as well just play in Japan.
Honestly, that's as good of a reason as any. We'll put a ball on Matt McCarty here real quick, Patrick, because you kind of mentioned this. You know, he was already with PGA Tour card in hand. Now, a lot of his peers who were part of the graduating class, they're really going to start things off in January. But Matt McCarty playing with just everything is bonus right now. Everything is gravy right now. Already now he sets himself up for multiple years as opposed to just seeing what 2025 brings him.
And we discussed leading into this tournament how difficult it was last year for Korn Ferry Tour grads to get into some of these full field events on the PGA Tour. And you look at Matt McCarty's 2025, what he has lined up. Well, he finished first on the Korn Ferry Tour. That gets you the Players' Championship already and the U.S. Open. Well, he wins this. Guess what? You're in the Masters. You're in the PGA Championship. You get to start your year at the Century as well. It is kind of baffling, all that said, that he's not in Riviera. He's not at Pebble Beach. He's not in those signature events yet. But his season, it's not going to look like a regular rookie season on the PGA Tour. He's going to have real opportunities to put a real stamp on the PGA Tour throughout 2025 because of this win. And obviously, he already has his card locked up. But like you said, Rick, through 2026, so he doesn't have to play with that stress over his head either. And maybe this heater can keep on rolling into 2025.
We're going to roll on to second and others who made noise this week, but we are going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
Welcome to JJ's.
I'll have wait, there's no way I can get a burger?
No chance, but you can have the NFL on CBS streams live on Paramount Plus. Oh, hang on. There's a toy.
And we're back. Second place was Stephan Jaeger, Greg. Now, Matt McCarty did not necessarily get a lot of external pressure. Guys that finished highly, some of them posted very early. Kevin Streelman didn't apply a ton late. Stephan Jaeger was the one hanging around, trying to give Matt McCarty something to think about. 4 birdies and 1 bogey on his Sunday en route to a 68. In fact, he shot back-to-back 68s this weekend. It's kind of a weird situation. You know, Jaeger, obviously with the win in Houston, but has played a lot of up and down golf since then.
Yes. Now, I think looking at this golf course, his play coming in was not great, and I think that was one of the things that kind of kept me away from backing Stephan Jaeger this week. But the golf course certainly fits his style, right? It's one where you can hit a lot of drivers. There's a lot of room out there, and with Stephan Jaeger and his added distance, he's played well at golf courses like that. Houston would be one of them. Mexico would be another one of them. There were a couple, the Farmers, another one where you kind of have some room. Farmers may be an exception, but you have some room to air it out. And Stephan Jaeger had that opportunity this week and took advantage. The thing was today, he was just, it was a very slow start, only making one birdie on that front nine. Doesn't take advantage of number 5, drivable par 4. Doesn't take advantage of number 9. And all of a sudden, when you're in this chase position, you're still chasing and you're in a difficult position. So fortunately, he was able to make some nice birdies at 13 and 14. And then at 15, 16, and 17, he had good looks for birdie. And the 3 of them combined missed by a total of 7 inches. 7 inches, but he had 2 that were right on the lip. According to Shot Tracker, 1 inch away. And the other was 5 inches. So that was kind of a disappointing stretch. But boy, if all 3 of those went in, it would have been 1, he would have tied the mark of McCarty, and 2, he would have finished with 6 straight birdies. So it was really close to something special for Stephan Jaeger, but ultimately just a little too slow at the start.
It still might be brewing because this is now going to be 4 straight events in which he's gained strokes with the putter after snapping a fairly long losing streak on the putting surfaces. So there still might be plenty of juice to squeeze out of Stephan Jaeger in coming weeks. We'll see where he ends up teeing it up, but it's a solo second, 3 shots off the pace for Jaeger. Lucas Glover tied with Kevin Streelman for 3rd, and Patrick Lucas's 62 was posted very early in the day. He turned in 30. He made 3 more birdies on the back, so it was bogey free, and he put together one of the greatest statistical profiles of the ShotLink era. He gained, not a typo, 13.5 strokes on approach. That's only happened 4 times in ShotLink history, 13.5 strokes on approach or more. Usually, or most often, you win when that happens. Lucas Glover did not, because he lost nearly 3 strokes with the putter. He lost another half a stroke off the tee, but I guess there's a lot of positives to take away from this week. He just did not miss the center of the club face.
It was the 2nd week in a row he tried to post and wait and steal the tournament. Came up shot short, I believe, in Jackson. A few more this time around, but had everything going today, and it's hilarious. He moves inside the top 60 with this result now. He's playing some great golf during this FedEx Cup fall, and someone asked him, how does this help you out this fall, this high finish like this? And he replied, quote, "I don't know. I still don't know how any of this works. I'm here because I didn't play good the regular part of the season. I think I got 3 or 4 weeks off now and show back up in Bermuda. All the math, and I don't know. You need a Nobel math scholar to figure it all out."
He said that?
Well. Yeah.
First off, that's amazing. It's horrifying that he does not know what's going. Does he just go when his agent tells him to show up or something?
So. His agent is definitely like, yeah, all right, you need to play here, you need to play here. You have a chance to get inside the top 60 if you do this.
Lucas, I'm available. For 1%, I will tell you where to play, when to play, and when not to play. I am available.
I gotta clip that and post it. I got it on the PGA Tour media site. When I read that, I started just cracking up because it sounds so like Lucas Glover.
Oh, that's incredible.
I don't know. I'm just trying to play some good golf. But he is playing some phenomenal golf during the fall and finally got the putter working. But man, it's like a what could have been week if you're Lucas Glover to hit it that good and to not come away with a victory. But yeah. Still a quality result, obviously.
Yeah. Here's the
59 today.
Here's the fall, Greg. Yeah. T13, T3, and then another T3. I mean, hard to be upset about that.
He hit 66 greens in regulation.
Finally, somebody did it.
Right.
The magic number we've been waiting for.
66 greens out of 72.
That's
Obviously.
stupid.
It's
Oh my gosh.
unbelievable. I mean, this round today is like the putter went cold on him, and he shot 62. I haven't seen very many. This is like a Scotty Scheffler round. I mean, listen to these proximities on the back nine, where, I mean, 2 feet, 7 inches, 18 feet, 12 feet, 10 feet, 24 feet, 22 feet, 15 feet. Just every single one, it's coming right down the flag. It was an incredible performance. And I think it's one of the most important areas. I think it's the most important area of the game at the PGA Tour level. And watching guys excel at it is so much fun for me.
I found it hilarious how animated he was when putts would lip out or he just missed. He was like almost falling to his knees. And I would think that a guy who misses as many putts as he does would be used to that and not as like, what's the word? I'm not provocative, but just like it looked like he was in theater class. It was
Dramatic.
Dramatic. It was incredible. I thought he'd be used to that. But an excellent fall continues to roll on for Lucas Glover. It's a T3 for him. Kevin Stroman also finished T3. Hat tip. I want to get down to Joe Highsmith, Patrick, because I want to hear what you have to say about this putting stroke. So not just the bucket cap. This is the full sun hat, I believe, from Joe Highsmith, who started his day with a double on number 1. He followed it up a few holes later with a bogey on number 4. So he was 3 over through 4 holes. He would claw each of those back to shoot an even par 71. But Patrick, what was the technical side of things? What was the putting conversation that you wanted to have here?
So when one of my friends first started out playing golf a few years ago, he attempted to do the pencil grip or the claw grip on the greens. He watched a bunch of YouTube videos beforehand. He's like, this is for me. I can't putt conventionally. And unbeknownst to him, he did it backwards. He was doing it backwards the entire time. Right? He's right-handed, so his left hand was not the one gripping the club. So normally for a right-hander,
Yes.
your left hand grips the club and your right hand's kind of the pencil or the claw.
So his left hand was facing his like right shoulder, like backwards.
Yes.
Okay.
Or the claw was the wrong way.
Facing away from the hole.
No, it was facing towards the hole.
But it was his top hand?
No, the claw was the bottom hand. No.
The problem is Patrick's left-handed, and now we're trying to figure this out together.
I know. That's what's throwing me off. It's like driving in the UK. So the claw was still the bottom hand, but it was his front hand. It was the wrong hand.
This, yeah. Okay.
And so every time Joe Highsmith is on TV or whatever, because he's been doing it for a little bit, my friend texts me. He goes, I wasn't wrong. See, I wasn't wrong. And so, Greg, my question for you was, what does this do for Joe Highsmith, like putting wise?
Takes the left hand out of it, like completely out of it. I mean, I can't imagine. I've never experimented with this, going backwards with it, but there are so many methods these guys are using out on tour now that is incredible. The general premise of the conventional claw is to take the air quotes are take the right hand out of it. So if you have the yips or a little hit impulse, you take so many fingers off of the club, you take your palm out of it, that bottom hand can't flip the club or toss the club or twist the face. That's the purpose of the claw. Typically, it comes from guys who have the yips, although not always. But it stabilizes the face. Now, when you go backwards with it, or wrong, as you said to your friend, when you do it backwards like this, it seems like it would just take it out even more. And it's almost, the only way you can generate any power or speed with the putter would be through the shoulders. So you have to use your body a whole lot more, and your hands are barely holding on to the club. So that would be That would be my guess. I doubt he's pulling with the bottom hand like that. But this is probably one of those things. It sounds crazy to say on the PGA Tour level. He's messing around on the putting green, makes a few putts, and sticks with it. You know, it's crazy. It's like pulling a putter out of the garage or buying one off the rack in the pro shop.
I will say, the first time I played with my friend, he hooped 2 20-footers back to back on number 1 and 2.
And you thought about doing it, didn't you?
Yes, it was legitimately Shooter McGavin in the trees, Happy Gilmore attempting to do it.
So Josh has a photo of Joe Highsmith doing this right now. And so he's left-handed. So not only is this right hand low, which is the opposite of the traditional, it's the pencil or the claw grip, and it is the reverse pencil claw grip. So this is like variation 3 of 4. The only other thing he could do is broomstick this. That if he'd put a broomstick on that, he'd have all the variants covered.
Yes. Also, if you had that same setup and just put a putter that was facing the other way, it would look like a right-handed traditional claw grip.
And honestly, from this view, because it is a blade and like the angle that we have, if you Photoshop the ball out, he's a right-handed player.
Right-handed claw grip. Absolutely.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, great stroke. Great. That's awesome.
I love that setup position.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Very interesting. Learning a lot. Okay. Here's what we are going to do. We are going to use the recap of the bets and the one and done to talk more about some of these guys that were at the top of the board or that we were chatting about earlier this week and get you an update on how they finished. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
If you love football, this is the best time of the year.
This is as big as it gets. The stuff of absolute dreams.
And we're back. Let's recap these bets for the week and give us an opportunity to talk about Seamus Power. What a lad. A Sunday special for both Patrick and I. Seamus shoots a 65, flies up the leaderboard, and passes Kurt Kitayama. Keith Mitchell had already missed the cut for the week, so I cashed my 3-ball. Patrick cashes his matchup, which was no sweat, over Keith Mitchell, and Seamus Power makes us all happy.
Love it. Seamus, fantastic. Fellow Irishman, did it for us, Rick.
So Power shoots a 6 under 65.
Yeah.
Kitayama shoots a 1 over 72. So Kitayama finishes T25. Keith Mitchell missed the cut. So Greg, who was the 4th golfer on Monday that was over? I have it right here. $10,000.
It was Bo Hostler.
Bo Hostler.
Okay, so just to look back at the guys that were so Seamus Power T11, Mitchell missed the cut, Kitayama mid-20s, and Hostler T11. So we didn't really get a high-end finish from any of those 4 guys. And a disaster for Keith Mitchell.
Yeah, well, you're right. So Seamus Power was the guy that we were looking for.
Yes.
And I guess that was right. And you could add Bo into the mix, who kind of quietly finished T11.
Yeah, he did. He went on a couple of runs, but could never keep it really going.
Right. Yeah, so Seamus was a great play and a great pick by you guys, and let's thank God, as you'll see on the rest of this board.
Yeah, Andrew Novak pulled a 69 on Thursday, and then he was going to miss the cut when play was suspended on Friday night, so he just withdrew. Saves himself from posting that score on Friday, and Alex Smalley made the weekend. So that is Smalley beating Andrew Novak.
Killer.
The finishing positions did not go well. Lonto Griffin I had to finish inside the top 30. He wasn't even the low Griffin. He finished T54. Justin Lauer was on Greg's card. He missed the cut. And Rose Zhang did not cash for you, Patrick. Do you know where she finished? I don't have it up.
Not great. She wasn't even close, I believe.
T41 or something like that. Josh
Yeah.
says the real disappointing though one is Padraig Harrington to win
Oh,
the SAS
man.
Championship, had the
Software as a
lead
service.
going into Sunday. Just could not. Jerry Kelly chased him down.
That came down to
missed
the 18th hole too.
I missed the end of the 1 o'clock window. I missed witching hour because I was locked in to the software as a service championship. And Jerry Kelly, he's been battling, I believe, arthritis in his back. He three putts 18. First off, Padraig Harrington had a 3-shot lead coming into Sunday. Squanders it immediately. I think we're totally toast. He birdied 17. Jerry Kelly 3 putts from about 30 feet on 18. We just need a par for a playoff. Jerry Kelly, you know what he's doing? He's already walking back to the tee while Padraig Harrington is playing in regulation.
I saw that.
And lo and behold, Padraig Harrington doesn't get up and down, got a bad lie beyond the green, and we don't cash it. I will say probably the funniest part of this tournament was on 18, Jerry Kelly had a somewhat suspect lie in the right rough to a front pin, and whoever the on-course analyst was, they're like, what's the play here? He goes, I only see one play. He's got to bang it into the grandstands along of the green. That's the only thing that I think is logical right now. Jerry Kelly runs up an iron to 30 feet. Like that's the only play. He has to bang it into the grandstands right now, which I appreciated. I was like, all right, let's see it. I was expecting like one just to tumble out there hot, and instead he hits one to the front of the green.
Jerry Kelly clips, yes, while waiting basically in the middle of the fairway to go start the playoff. He watches as Padraig Harrington cannot get up and down from the back of the green. Jerry Kelly wins. That's not the only outright that was on the card this week that fell just short, because Greg, you had Thorbjorn Olesen on your outright card. That was a Open de France wager. He finishes 1 shot behind Dan Bradbury after playing well all week long, 65, 69, 67, 68. But like I said, falls just 1 shot short.
Bradbury. I was watching that this morning too. And Olesen had, first of all, the Le Golf National and the DP World Tour combined is an electric factory. Like, you always talk about how crazy the finishes are.
Yes.
And so I'm watching this with that in mind. Like, there was one point where there were 6 guys tied for the lead at 12 under. Olesen was one of them. And Olesen was in the last group. He had a great chance. He had chances at 16 and 17 that missed like Jaeger. I mean, inches away. So it was pretty painful. 18 as a par 4 is brutal. You just can't make it's so hard to make birdie there. So Bradbury clipped me.
Clipped you. The greatest drug in the world is a Sunday morning final round on the DP World Tour. You will see things you did not even know were possible every single week. It is outrageous.
That was perfect for that.
Yeah, it is just a combination of either guys vomiting all over themselves, the greatest comebacks you've ever seen, shots that somebody might stuff one from 250 yards to an inch, or they might shank one from 40 yards into the grandstand, and the whole thing makes no sense. It's the greatest golf in the world.
And the announcers are so calm.
Oh, they're the best.
I think he caught a little hosel on that one.
Oh, that was a bit naughty. Like it's just the freaking best.
He's done well.
Yeah.
Oh, Terrell, you shouldn't have, you little minx.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. I love it. I'm trying to think what else. Okay, Patrick, I want to get your thoughts on this. Daniel Berger, Flashback 2 years ago, Daniel Berger's top 15 player in the world. Flashback last week, he's one of the best players at the Sanderson Farms. Fast forward, doesn't really put all 4 rounds together. 72, 65, 65, 70. What is the state of the union on Daniel Berger heading into the rest of 2024 and 2025?
I think he's close. Number 9 got him a couple times this week. I believe he made 2 doubles on that par 5. And I watched the coverage late on Friday. Shout out to NBC. It seems like this fall they're really putting an emphasis on the cut line.
Big emphasis.
And the coverage has been great. He was one of those guys who needed to birdie his last couple holes to get in, and he did that. So that's a welcome sight for Daniel Berger. But yeah, I think generally I'm pretty positive about his outlook for 2025. I think he'll get things going. He seemed like he wasn't like totally 100% healthy during this past season, which sounds crazy for how long he sat out, because last week in Jackson, he was like, this is the healthiest I've ever felt. So hopefully it's true, and hopefully he's not lying and just saying that. And we get back to the DB straight vibing that we all know and love.
That's what I need. I need some DB straight vibing in my life. $37,350 for Daniel Berger. That was Patrick's one and done selection. It was the same amount that I got for Harry Hall, who gave me just enough hope all week long until Sunday when things went sideways. I think he was 3 over during the final round, drops to that 37,000 number. Greg, General, Patton, Kazire, the run slowed. It's not completely over because he made the cut, but thanks to a T43 and 2 bad rounds on Friday and Sunday, he will earn you $26,000 for the week.
Yeah, not great. Very disappointing. I had him for a top 30 as well. He finished 3 shots out of that. You got to think that was in the cards for Sunday. So disappointing finish. And we've been passed. Finally, somebody here in the fall one and done has made a significant move.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't me.
It was not. Josh added $137,000 to his tally thanks to Seamus Power, but it was Mark, that pesky Mark, who had Lucas Glover for this week, $442,000. So that moves him from $0. Is that right? 0 to 4. Yes. Okay. So from dead last to first, 442,000. Josh has 163. Greg has 89K. I've got 71,000 and Patrick has 63,000 with now 5 tournaments to go, I believe, in this FedEx Cup fall one and done special that we have going on. Were you going to say something, Patrick?
I'm going to try to finish under 100K while my guys make the cut in these next 5 tournaments.
So I'm in a, well, it's over now, but I was in a one and done. So a one and done where sometimes there's segment payouts. Sometimes this one has, segment payouts. It has a prize for, I think, the most top 20s without a win or something like that. And then it also has a prize for fewest dollars, but you have to make a pick every week.
I love that.
And somebody just basically committed to picking like the sponsor's invite every week.
For 2025, should we have 2 concurrent one and dones? Like the best of the best and the worst of the worst?
How much would it stink to have the guy that you picked your Monday qualifier or whatever make a run?
I think it would be fantastic.
A buddy of mine plays in a pick'em NFL league with just like 12 friends of his or whatever. And they pick, and throughout the year, you pick every game with the spread. And there's a award, the 2 people at the end when they have their dinner, the guy that wins and the guy that comes in last get a free dinner.
Nice.
So like there's a point in the season where you got to decide.
You got to give up
which way, but you can't give up. Because
they're all 50-50 coin flips anyway, right?
Yeah, so it's brutally like it's just as hard to pick them all wrong as pick them all right.
Right. Yeah, if you could pick them all wrong, you could pick them all right.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you went on a run there at the end of the season. It's like, yeah, I was trying to pick them all wrong.
Right. Yeah. But you wouldn't want to tell anybody that. You'd be like, I'm the best.
I wonder
Found
what
this
would
guy
happen
on Twitter.
if you kept track of against the spread. You try to pick the loser or whoever you think is going to win. You pick the you do it backwards. Oh, I think the Chiefs are going to win, but I'll pick so and so. Like, how often would they cover? It'd be really interesting.
So I always thought about like in theory, you should be pretty like that should be good, right? So so there was this one. I don't know the legalities of it, so I won't name it. But basically, you could like I could just like throw out a bet to the community, and then anybody could grab it. Okay, like Patrick would
talking about.
So Patrick would just say, "Hey, I want to put $50 on the the Bengals -3.5. If you want it, you can grab it.
I'll take it."
And I was basically grabbing like every bet that I could find that was like on the because in theory, right? Like most people are losing bettors. So if you are just picking bets, you're probably only winning 48, maybe 45% of them. And I'm now just playing the house, taking all of them.
Yeah.
So like, and I was doing pretty well, honestly, when I was doing that, because I was like, I don't have to decide anything. I'm just going to take them all.
Is that still around, Rick?
You know what? I don't know.
So I guess we weren't doing that well.
Or maybe it was doing too well.
Maybe it was doing too well. I think it is, but I worry about the
yeah.
So there's no house. It's just community house.
Yeah, which I thought, and again, this is we've probably talked about this. I thought that I can't believe there's not a blockchain version of this now, right? I thought one of the best use cases of the blockchain, which is just a ledger that matches people together, was to match people who want opposite sides of bets. And instead of taking 10% as the house, the chain takes 1% or whatever, and it just matches people together, and it's all transparent. It's all, I don't know why that hasn't been created yet.
Should we start cryptocurrency? Is that what you're saying?
If you know anybody, we'll call it Patcoin.
No, we are not calling it that.
I wouldn't even know where to start, but that's a good idea. Somebody's got to do F coin. No, maybe not F coin.
Yeah, F coin. I like it.
Cut coin.
I think it'll work.
Vegas next week.
You going?
Okay, so I have to. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I have to break the news to you guys.
Oh no!
I know.
No,
I really feel bad about this.
Oh no!
So Mina and I are going to Australia, and we're
okay.
leaving. And we're leaving next week. So the plan is to do as many first cuts as possible because I'll just be doing them. I'll be coming to you guys from the future. So Sunday recaps will be Monday morning.
You're going to lose a day.
But then we'll gain it on the way back.
That's true. So just make sure those are good and bad days.
Yes. So you'll
never get the day back.
Right. Just a day that is gone forever. So we are leaving on the 16th, arriving on the 18th. The 17th does not exist for me this year. Just like I will never see the 17th of October.
There's no October 17th.
Probably like bottom 300 day. So pretty solid.
I hope so. So the plan is to continue to do as many of the first cuts as possible. So I will be coming in from Australia the next couple of weeks. But the one I will say, okay, I'll just come clean because I guess you guys are going to find out anyway. And I feel really bad. My questionability for Sunday's recap show is because I have a tea time at Royal Melbourne at the same time.
Wow.
And I know nobody's playing like a little violin for Rick over here. I get it.
So you're kind of pulling a Malik Neighbors concussion protocol. You're at a Travis Scott concert. That's what you're doing to us right now.
Yeah, like I'm withdrawing and going to Disneyland like Jason Day did a couple of years ago.
Well, right? I don't blame you.
Yeah. So I
don't think there's anybody here, company wide, that would be in your situation and say no to Royal Melbourne because they got to do the podcast.
Now, I still think, well, thank you. I still think it's possible because I just have to see how far away the hotel is from everything, because I think I can still record it and still have plenty of time because I think I'll be good there. But it'll be Monday morning for me doing that episode, which is going to be really weird.
Hey, Rick, I'll do Sunday, and just enjoy your time.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Of course. Are you playing the composite or?
No, I'm playing the East course.
Oh,
I'm very excited.
I'm not sure the difference between the two, but I don't think you can go wrong.
I don't think I can either.
This is a one of a kind experience.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. So I will.
What season is it there?
So they're heading into summer.
So it's spring.
Yes.
gosh, dude, I love what. Just give me like the whole itinerary for Australia.
Yeah, we're bouncing around. So we're flying into Melbourne.
Okay.
Then so I've got
Melbourne.
I've got a tea time at Royal, and I believe I'm going to get on Peninsula Kingswood when we get to Sydney. So we're headed to Sydney. Then we're going to Cairns, I believe is how they pronounce it, which is up in the north. That's like Great Barrier Reef.
You're staying in the I was going to say oh my god. I'm not going to say it. Staying in the I was going to say brothel, but you're staying in the hostel that I recommended, right?
No, but I'm saying it, but I will visit the brothel that you recommended.
I always get those two confused. They're pretty close.
That's
pretty
very
close words. Yeah. All-time hostel experience. Bunch of young 20-year-olds, Rick. I'm sure you and Armida will love it.
Yeah, we'll fit right in. Yeah.
So
and then we're
snorkeling.
We're going to snorkel. We're going to do the excursion, all that stuff.
Yes.
And then we're going to Adelaide. And I'm going to play Royal Adelaide. And then it's like, this is a once in a lifetime trip. It's going to be sick. And then we screwed this up. We should have just flown out of Adelaide or somewhere else. We're going back to Melbourne and flying out, which was probably a mistake, but that's
I think you'll be able to deal.
Yeah,
I'll
I think
survive.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll survive.
Don't develop an Australian accent because you're gonna want to, and it's gonna sound cool, and you think you're gonna sound awesome, but it's gonna come back to bite you in the rear end at one stage. Just a heads up. It happened to me. It will happen to you.
All right. I will do my best, but no promises because I would love to slip into it for the next couple of weeks.
Good day, mate.
Why are you down under?
Don't get me started now.
Little shrimp on the barbie.
Well, Patrick, we could all see why that came back to bite you.
Yes. I could see that too. All right. Well, next week. So normal week in terms of Monday, Tuesday, Sunday shows. Patrick is a champ, and Greg, I'm sure, are going to take care of Sunday for me. So thank you, boys, very, very much. And then it'll be business as usual. We'll just continue to rock on. Greg and I will break down the DFS slate on Monday, and I can't wait. I mean, it's like my favorite tournament week of the year. I'm sad I will not be there, but I'm not going to miss it. But
no,
it'll be good. Any final thoughts, gents, before we get out of town?
Good stuff, boys.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Big thanks, producer Josh, does all the hard work behind the scenes. That right there, it's Greg DuCharme. You can find him at The Real GFD, Patrick McDonald at P McDonald CBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.